Today is September the 14th, 2020. And I woke up this morning with a beautiful dream that I wanted to share. When I woke up and I looked at the clock, it was 7:15 a.m. I'm I'm in a room. There's audience in the chair. It looks like a hall from your church if you're gonna go, have coffee, mingle, Um, and then I'm sitting on the floor in the front of this where they're sitting at the table. And there's an artist that's singing up here. And it wasn't a lot of shouting and hollering or anything in there. They're enjoying the little petite girl. And I kind of looked up and I felt as though it was the grande girl. And I thought, well, she's on stage singing and I'm sitting here. I need to move out the way. Now I don't really understand why no one was asking me to move out the way when I'm sitting down on the ground while she's singing the song. And I really was amazed that it wasn't a lot of hooping, and hollering in the song, and it was just a beautiful song. But I thought, let me get out the way. So I went to the right toward the door, and I noticed there was a few ladies sitting over there outside the door in the hallway, sitting over there. And I thought, I was going to try to impress them. I'm going to try to lift up in the air, you know. I haven't done that in years. I'm going to try to lift up in the air. And I know it's not going to work. But if I'm able to lift up in the air, oh man, they would love to see that. Woo! They'd be like, look at her. So I thought I would try it anyway. So I lifted up in the air and it just was going a little slowly. And then I saw it was taking. It was taking, and I was just really surprised that it was taking. So I just went with it, right? So I go up in the air and I go with it. And then it's like I'm not in that room anymore, any longer. I'm not in that room. I'm in this room and I'm just floating. I'm going right. I'm just floating right, right? And then when I look to I don't know what made me look to the left. I look to the left and there's this long hallway. And on the left and the right of the hallway, it's like clouds, clouds, all white clouds. And in the midst of the clouds that's coming this way, slowly floating this way, is Mary. And it's Mary with the sash around her waist. And she has her hands in a prayer. And she's slowly moving this way with the clouds all adorned around her like the perfect cave, that perfect. And she's slowly going this way. So I just turn my head and I go this way and I go straight because then I start thinking, this is not just a regular dream where you're up and flying. This is it. I'm leaving now. So as I'm going straight, I thought, well, I'll look down and see, can I see my arms? Because I've never tried to do that years and years ago, right? So I look down at my arms, and at first I see like an outline, of what the arms would be hanging down. But then there's no brown, there's no arms, there's no skin. You know your arms are there, but they're not there. You can't see them. So I know this is it. And so as I'm going straight, I'm telling myself as I'm going straight, I'm going to have faith. I'm not going to be scared. I'm not going to be strong. This is it. I'm crossing over now. And so I continued on, and then it's like I'm out in the open because that was some kind of framed building, along. And then I'm out in the open, and I'm out in the sky, and I'm out in the air. It's beautiful, and I'm just floating. And I realize it's a different kind of float where you do it yourself. Someone's holding me up. I'm floating and they're carrying me. It's like their hands, like I would think like they were holding me up. I couldn't see anything, right? And so I decide to look down. I don't know why. I think now I must have been instructed when I looked to the left and saw Mary. When I decided to look down, I see these huge, big gloves, two of them like this, laying like this, huge, huge, big hands, large hands, pure white. They were gloves. They were these huge, big gloves. But their hands, like if you put your hand in the glove and it feels it out. No, it was like a pair of big gloves you laid on the table, right? So you like the hand wasn't in it, but they were laying like that. And I must have been laying, sitting on this part here, these big gloves. And I don't know how I knew. I looked down at the gloves and I said, oh, I love you. Oh, I love you. I was holding the gloves, the hands, because I knew that it was God's hands. I love you. And then I said, let me see if I can see him. So I'm looking at the hands and I know I'm sitting on top of the arms at this point. And I turn around and I look to the left to see if I could see God's face. And I turn around and there's God. The first thing I noticed is there was something pure white on the nose. Then I looked up at the head and there was this pure white hat covering the head. And then I noticed his eyes and I saw his skin. And there was some white patch that covered the eyebrows. The only thing I was permitted to see was the eyes and some of the skin. And I looked and I held his face. And I said, I will love you forever. And he looked at me and he nodded with a smile. And he never said any words. And he was just holding me. And I was so happy. I was so happy. And I woke up and I looked at my clock and it was 7:15. And I thought, what a beautiful dream. And I thought I would share that with you. And I'm like, he wore white, I'm wearing white. It's the most beautiful dream. I've never, ever had a God dream, ever. But I'm going to end it. I don't want to make it too long. For me, Mary is asking for prayer. She was asking for prayer. That was my interpretation. You don't have to be Catholic. Pray. You believe in God. You believe that his son died for you. She's asking us for prayer. And I felt in my heart after I awakened that that was God's words. When I held his face and I looked at him and I said, I will love you forever. When I woke up, I thought, I could not believe that this was God. I was just amazed. How did I even think of those words to say? I asked myself. I was so in awe in the dream holding his hand. I was going, when I realized, I love you. I love you. And then I thought the reason why those words came out holding his face is because those are his words. Those are his words for us, all of his children. He wants you to know he will love you forever. Take care of yourself. Have peace, have joy, and always have love. Take care of yourself. Goodbye.